Just 3 minutes ago, it was announced that new documents related to the Jeffrey Epstein files had been uncovered. The U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, has released more than 3 million documents related to its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. This latest disclosure has gone on record as the most extensive release of files to date. The documents, published last Friday, contain new details regarding Epstein's relationships with several high-profile and well-known individuals in the United States and the United Kingdom. However, a large portion of the files consists of unverified tips and information submitted to law enforcement that has not been corroborated. The Department of Justice stated that, in order to protect the identities of surviving victims, it redacted images of all women except Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. Personal and medical information, depictions of child sexual abuse, and materials involving violence or death were also withheld from public release. DOJ officials indicated that this disclosure is likely the final major release related to the Epstein files. Initially, approximately 6 million pages were identified as eligible for release under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. However, officials later acknowledged that the collection was overly broad and decided to publish only half of that amount. This has triggered significant backlash in Congress. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna is among those leading the call for the full release of all documents in accordance with the law. While Khanna acknowledged that this is the largest batch of files released so far, he emphasized that it is still insufficient. He stated that if the remaining FBI 302 forms, victim interviews, the 2019 prosecution memoranda, and other documents are not released, he and Thomas Massie are prepared to pursue impeachment or contempt of Congress proceedings. The contents of the files have also sparked widespread controversy. The New York Times reported that it identified more than 5,300 files referencing Donald Trump among the millions of documents released. These include unverified tips submitted to the FBI and interview notes from Epstein survivors. While one note describes Epstein bringing a survivor to Mar-a-Lago, the documents do not allege direct misconduct by Trump. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche stated that the DOJ reviewed sexual misconduct allegations involving Trump in connection with Epstein, but did not find credible information warranting further investigation. Trump has repeatedly said that his friendship with Epstein ended in the early 2000s and has consistently denied any wrongdoing. Former Palm Beach County State Attorney Dave Aronberg noted that the most critical documents still being withheld are victim statements. He also pointed to a 60-count indictment draft prepared by prosecutors in the Southern District of Florida that was ultimately shelved, as well as internal communications related to the controversial sweetheart deal Epstein received. These documents, he said, remain undisclosed despite their importance to both survivors and the public. The Department of Justice argues that it is withholding documents under deliberative process and work product privileges. Critics, however, contend that the Epstein Files Transparency Act does not allow these exceptions to be used to justify withholding the records. As a result, a legal standoff between Congress and the administration is widely expected. According to experts, the next concrete step may involve members of Congress filing a lawsuit against the DOJ to compel the release of the documents, or passing new legislation to close the legal loopholes. The absence of an enforcement mechanism in the current law is viewed as the primary factor stalling the process. If you want to see what happens next, subscribe now. The documents are released tomorrow. And this story does not end here.